Hello, I'm Lawrence Chard. Welcome to our Chard's Coin and Bullion Dealer YouTube channel. I think the first thing is thank you to everybody who viewed our 40 fake sovereigns video. It's now in under a week. It's up to 40,000 views and still going, which is our hottest new video release ever, I think. It's about the 5th or 6th most highly viewed video we've done, and the earliest one we did was about 12 years ago. And welcome to you all, and also thanks and welcome to all the new subscribers. We're getting close to 10,000 now. We only had under 6,000 about a year or so ago. Some people have got 100,000 or 1 million, but then maybe they've got something that I haven't got. Where are we going today, Christian?
So today's video, we're going to answer some of the questions that we received on the comment section of the 40 fake gold sovereign video.
Yeah, and we had over 400, didn't we?
We did, yeah, and these are the top 10 most popular questions of that video.
Well, the top one was somebody spamming us, or spamming, in fact, two of them, about, oh yes, gold coins are wonderful, you should meet somebody who's an influencer and she'll tell you how to waste your money on crypto or some other things, or if you pay her £1,000 a minute, she'll tell you how to make £175,000 a day and be a millionaire between next Tuesday. So just ignore all that garbage. What are the real comments? The top one.
Yep, so the first comment here is from JT King. Why would somebody fake a coin and add more gold than the original?
Okay, well, good question. But I do answer this about 10 or 20 times every video, or every one where we do fakes. Very simply, things like gold sovereigns used to trade at a very high premium. Back in the 60s, or before then, since sovereigns went out of circulation, which was somewhere around about 1925 or 1933, the market premium on them has been going up. And in the 60s, we saw premiums over 40% on the secondary market old gold sovereigns that have been in circulation. If you're making fakes, you don't want to be caught out, because the obvious thing is people will test them, maybe jewellers and pawnbrokers will acid test them. And if they're not 22 carat gold, they'll detect it and not buy them. If they're 22 carat or better, most of them won't care that they're better, they won't notice. And they'll probably happily buy them. Even if your fake sovereigns are costing you 2 or 3 or 5% premium to make, there's a big, fat, healthy profit there out of selling them for 40% premium or maybe a small discount to that. Very simply. I think that some people fail to understand this because they've only seen what's happened recently and they've looked at markets, and we sell gold sovereigns from as little as 1% premium. It's like grade C, which are near scrap, but even our brand new minty ones are, what, 3%, 3.5%, somewhere around there. So very good value. And now it's not worth faking sovereigns if you're going to put full content gold in, unless you're in Dubai, in which case you're probably selling them to tourists who think that Dubai is cheap for gold. And just buy it and don't actually look at the pricing. In fact, on this video, I did say that our customer could have almost certainly have bought his genuine gold sovereigns in the UK for less than he paid for these fakes or imitations in Dubai.
I think that answers that one. So this next question is from user ApplePie409, and they've put, what would be the difference in value between the fake and a real one if the weight and carat of gold is equivalent?
Well, the intrinsic value will be exactly the same, but we're not talking about the intrinsic value because they don't trade at exactly intrinsic value. If you if you were talking to a neighbour and he wanted to buy a gold sovereign off you, and you said, well, I've got a genuine one and I've got a fake one, they're identical gold, which do you think he'd buy? He'd buy the genuine one, wouldn't he? He'd be stupid to buy the fake one. And in any case, with the fake, how do you know the gold content's good? Unless you've got about a £20,000 night-on pester. handy and how to use it. It's just, it's just simple. Also, old sovereigns, even very common dates, have got some numismatic interest. There are people who collect gold sovereigns, and they often want one of each head, or one of each date, or one of each mint mark. Whereas there are very, very few collectors for fake coins. There are other factors. Just remind me what the question was again.
The question was, what would be the difference in value between the fake and a real one if the weight and carat of gold is equivalent?
Okay, so it's saleability, supply and demand. There wouldn't be much demand for fakes, and there would be good demand for genuine coins. Bear in mind, we only buy fakes at a scrap price, so at a substantial discount to intrinsic, whereas we buy genuine sovereigns for usually very close to intrinsic, sometimes a tiny margin below, sometimes a tiny margin above. Fakes, we don't really want them. We buy them at scrap and then we melt them. End of story. It's not legal for us to sell them. And here's the other point, so they're not VAT exempt, because they're not legal tender, they're not classed as investment gold because they're fakes, and also they wouldn't be capital gains tax exempt, because even though they look like a British coin, they're not. So you lose out two ways. It's stupid to buy fakes unless you've got some really specialist interest in them and you know what you're doing.
I think that leads us in nicely to the next question from ACUM, and his question is it legal to buy fake sovereigns for a decoy stack?
It's a good question, actually. Somebody did post that they'd bought an imitation sovereign from one of the newish websites, and it was 60 pence. So he said he bought it for below face value. What it's made of, I don't know, whether it's plastic or whether it's, who knows. And no, I think that would be quite a good, valid reason and legal reason to actually have and own some fakes for decoys. Yeah, good thinking, good question. By the way, I meant to say that wasn't last night, it was the night before. Every time I woke up and turned over in bed, I found I was dreaming about fakes. Can you believe that? I mean, we see enough of them when I'm working, but started to dream about them was, it's a bit sad.
I think you need a holiday, Lawrence.
Yeah, I need a holiday. Not in Dubai, thank you.
So the next question comes from Will H, and they've put, how can I confirm if my sovereigns are genuine rather than just spotting fakes?
Easy. All you need is years of experience. Sorry, that's a glib answer, but that's what I used to say when I was a cheeky little schoolboy and I was 16, and even then I could spot fakes often instantly. I'd see just a flash of a coin in somebody's hand and that's fake. I go, what? We haven't even looked at it yet. But how can you tell so quickly? And then I trotted it out with a big grin. Well, I tried to keep a straight face, but it never worked. Years of experience. What I realised in the last year sometime is I had years of experience because my cousin and I used to count and have to check about 50 to 100,000 old pennies a day when we were counting them in family's arcade. But how can you tell? Well, there is years of experience, but which doesn't help in a way. But basically, look at coins, look at photos of genuine coins. Maybe go to a coin fair or something like that and see if you can have a look at some. Dealers will love that. If you say, can I look at all your sovereigns because I want to compare them with mine? But seriously, if people are in here and they've got some coins of their own, usually we'll have a quick look. If we've got time, again, we will sometimes show them some of ours and just point out features. Watch YouTube videos like ours, look for features to look for. It's got a learning curve that isn't actually an easy way.
I think as well, just to add on to that, would be it'd be a good thing just to go on our website and open up our high-res images on the product pages and take a look on there and see if the pictures look the same as what you've got.
That's a good answer. In fact, that's probably a better answer than mine, isn't it? I'll ask the questions and you can answer them.
The next question comes from Daj City, and they've said, why is someone selling £563 worth of gold for £200?
Well, it's an interesting question. Maybe we didn't say on there, but our customer didn't just buy them last week or last month. He bought them. He used to work in Dubai, he tells us, and he bought them over a period of time. He did tell one of our staff members, but I don't have the dates in front of me, but maybe over a 10, 15, 20-year time period, when he was coming home kind of on holiday, and gold prices were lower at the time. And the £200 figure was, I think, his estimate of what they'd probably cost him on average.
So question 6 comes from XYZ, and he's put, do you come across many fake 1-ounce gold Britannia coins?
And I did answer that on the video itself. The answer is no. We have seen some Chinese kind of imitation ones, but they shouldn't fool anybody. The base metal are underweight. We also see silver ones, so it's worth the Chinese faking those. And you can buy fakes of almost anything from China, and they usually cost you £1 or £2 plus about the same in postage. In fact, if they didn't have a fake and you said, oh, could you make me 100 of these or 1,000 of those, they probably would.
Question 7 comes from Prit, and he said, what are those metal content analyzer machines called, and where can I get one?
This one! You can see it here. Usually, often we name it. Oh, you can't see, but on the side it says there is Niton. This is a Niton DXL, and it's an XRF analyzer, so X-ray fluorescent photo spectrometry, or something like that. But they are close to £20,000. So, you know, if you've got that in your petty cash or your pocket, then yeah, by all means go and buy one. That's not the end of it, because like buying a projector, you buy a projector for £1,000, a new lamp's probably £500. There are consumables on these. 3 different components of these machines are classed as consumables, and they can fail at almost any time. I think if they go in the first year, you might get it replaced free. But after that, you're on your own, and some of those are thousands of pounds. So they're not cheap.
Okay, I think as well, just to add to that question, just the Sigma machines are a possibility, aren't they, for a base entry collector or stacker?
Yeah, a lot of people use Sigma machines. They're very popular with people who got them. They're very good for quick tests on lots of things. And they do actually, or the more modern ones, do actually test right through the item and not just the surface. An X-ray machine will only penetrate to like microns of the depth. So if you got a piece of tungsten and coated it in gold, you'd probably get a reading that said gold. I mean, we've tested a rolled gold pocket watch before now, which just didn't alert, and it thought it was 18 karat gold. So you also have to use your brain. You have to know the limitation of your machines. Sigmas have also got limitations in that a Sigma does not tell you the gold content or the silver content. It tells you whether its electronic or electrical characteristics actually match some known alloy. And that's all it does. And there are quite a lot of examples of similar readings for different alloys. So you have to learn those, and you have to learn how to use them, and you have to know the limited. But they are quick. Pop your coin on, hit a few buttons, and if you were testing 1,000 silver Britannias or similar coins, you can just put on, test, on. You could do a big patch run on them, and they're quick and easy, as I say, but it doesn't actually tell you that they are gold or they are silver.
Question 8 comes from Jonathan, and he says, why is George V faked so much? Why not his father or grandmother?
Right, well, I think I answered this at the time. I said basically I think he was probably quite popular at the time, and different heads and different monarchs are popular with different people at different times. A slightly deeper answer on that, I had time to think about it, is I've already said in this shoot that gold sovereigns went out of circulation sometime after the First World War, but certainly by about 1925 to 1933, they'd disappeared and started going for premium. So when brand new sovereigns were no longer easily available, and they'd started going to premium prices, the most commonly encountered coins at the time were probably George V. There'd also be some Edwards, because they turn up as fakes as well, and there is Victoria ones too. We've even seen QE2 fakes, but not very many.
Okay, question 9 comes from Meteo Man, and he's put, are they really fakes when they're marked 22CT?
Did you say Meteo Man, or is this
Meteo
Meteo
Man.
Man?
Meteo Man 7958.
Not Meteo, then.
Possibly is Meteo
Teo?
Man.
He's probably a weatherman. Meteorological. What was the question?
Are they really fakes when they're marked 22CT?
Yeah. Of course they are, is my answer, but again, that's a bit flippant. Of course, if you took a genuine sovereign and you stamped 22CT on it, that doesn't make it a fake. It'd still be a genuine sovereign. But yes, in my opinion, they are fakes. And I think if you wanted to test that, you could bring them into the country and try to advertise and sell them as either genuine coins or whatever, or just as sovereigns. And I think the law would come down on you heavily, and I think you'd get convicted of selling counterfeits. If you said, oh, it's got 22k on it, okay, but that doesn't make it a genuine coin. And what can I say? If it's not a genuine coin, what do you call it? You could call it an imitation, you could call it a replica, you could call it a jeweller's copy, but I don't actually like that term. That kind of sounds a bit like an excuse. What's the word I want? It sounds a bit like a euphemism. You're trying to find a polite word for it, a marketing friendly, so you don't have to say, look, this is a fake. Oh, it's a jeweller's copy. Oh, that's okay then. No, the fakes.
Okay, and the final question is, could you provide an updated video showing how to confirm authenticity of sovereigns? I know we've obviously gone into that in previous questions, but I think we did a testing video recently, didn't we, of the rose gold sovereigns, different years on the Niton machine?
Yes, we've been doing that, but that isn't quite the same as saying how do you authenticate them. Telling something is a fake is quite easy, because if there's enough things wrong with it, you can conclude it's a fake. If it looks right and it's perfectly right, it's a little bit harder to actually be able to guarantee this is genuine, and by extension, it's also harder to explain to somebody how you go through the whole process and the testing thing to be able to guarantee it's fake. In fact, we tested one coin today. Somebody sent this to our London office. They took a photo and shot it down to us. Also Niton tested it, and the Niton test was low, only by a small amount, but it was low. But even on the fairly basic telephone photos that we got, it looked fake. I've seen the coin today, and yes, it looks fake to me. There are quite a few things wrong with it. It doesn't look quite as bad as the 1893 fake quintuple sovereign that we did in a recent video. You might want to put a link on there. But it doesn't look as good as the photos we've got of a genuine one on our website. But having seen it in the flesh, then yes, it doesn't look right. There's quite a few things wrong with it. I don't really need to go into detail. Somebody else was quite excited today as well. Oh, look at me, you'll be proud of me, I spotted this one. Team member showed me two sovereigns, and one of them was a 1927 SA South Africa one, which was a fairly obvious fake. It was quite tatty, so when they're tatty, they're slightly harder to tell. I didn't see the Niton test for that, but that was yet another fake. And now I've forgotten what the question was again.
It was just, could you provide an updated video showing how to confirm authenticity of sovereigns?
Yeah. So that's the answer. That if you do all your tests and you don't conclude it's fake, then you're getting very close to concluding that it's genuine. And that's where my head came back to me. Because when I looked at this gold £5 today, my opinion was that I think it's fake. Could I absolutely swear that it is fake? I don't know at this stage. I'd have to spend longer looking at it, but I do know that I certainly couldn't and wouldn't be happy to sell it as genuine. If I'm not convinced that it's genuine, then we don't sell it. At the worst, we might hang on, we might get a second opinion. We did this years ago, actually. We asked the Royal Mint a second opinion. It's probably 10 years or more back. And I went down there with about 27 coins, mainly quintuple and double sovereigns, that I didn't like. And I wanted to discuss their opinions. So Graham Dyer, who was the chief curator at the Royal Mint Museum, and I spent quite a long time looking at them on the day and looking at them genuine ones in their collection. Then he said, we can't check them all just this quickly on the day. Well, yeah, leave them with us if you like. And we did. And we waited a little while, actually, quite a long time. And they were apologetic about that, with no problem. And they do go into quite good detail because they do have the advantage of often having samples of the coin from a particular die pairing. So they can compare the reverse of a coin that we're showing with the reverse of a coin that they've got. Sometimes it might be a known fake, and similar with the obverse. And that is really kind of very high level, very detailed numismatics. Often I will get, if I'm not quite sure about something, I'll go and get a genuine example out, a known genuine one, and compare it with one that we're looking at. That's an advantage, having things like that in stock. If you're the Royal Mint and you've got lots of interesting coins like that in your museum stock, and you're not running a business doing it where you've got to buy and sell them, then you've got access to a lot more, if you like, library material or museum material. And that's very handy. At some stage, you said about a holiday. I need to take a holiday and probably go down to the Royal Mint for a week and ask if I can go in and poke around the museum and look at things for a week. That's a busman's holiday, isn't it? Did we say? Thumbs up if you like this video, thumbs down if you don't. We hope you've subscribed. We want to get to 10,000 preferably before this video's too old. What are we doing next, folks? By the time anybody sees this, our newest one about our WTF video will be out, and that's 20 fake gold bars. We think that'll be worth watching. You might have already seen it. I hope so. That's all from me for now. Bye for now.